Amaze.
How's it going, everyone? My name is the Zan Man, coming at you feeling out of this world in late March. Today, I will be discussing a movie that was originally a book released back in 2021. Yes, I say back in 2021. Somehow that was 5 years ago. Scary. But regardless, the source material that I will be discussing today is Project Hail Mary. The movie was released just a few days ago as of recording this video, and it was directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. If you're maybe unfamiliar with that duo, or maybe it does sound familiar to you and you don't know their prior work, well, they also directed the Lego movie, and they also produced both Spider-Man Spider-Verse movies, Into and Across Spider-Verse. So they got quite the resume, I would say. And the book that they have adapted for viewing pleasures in the big 2026 is Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. It's very engaging, I would say. I do really enjoy the dialogue. I really enjoy the humor of it. I think it's a very digestible read as well. So overall, I am having a good time with that book. And because I enjoy the book so much, I have been very highly anticipating the movie. The movie is also awesome, and I came out of the theater just blown away. Yeah, I've been looking forward to seeing the movie and just talking about it for quite some time now, so I'm glad I finally get this opportunity. So I guess the first thing that I really want to do is compare the book version of Project Hail Mary to its film counterparts. There's been a lot of discussion, especially recently, about book to movie adaptations, especially with Emily Fennell's iteration of Wuthering Heights. Yes, I use quotation marks because, she did it as well. And, a lot of people criticized the casting. They were not especially happy with how the movie was just translated into a movie. I didn't read the book, nor did I watch the movie, so I really can't comment too much on that. That's just what I've been seeing floating around the internet. In terms of Project Hail Mary, I would say it's a pretty faithful adaptation of Andy Weir's book. There are still some things that were left out of the movie. The one thing that I noticed immediately is Ryan Grace's ex-girlfriend was completely left out. In the first 20 pages or so, one of the first memories that he recovers after waking up from his coma is the news of the astrophage eating the sun, and the news was delivered by his ex-girlfriend. The character itself was not that important. It was just more so to get the audience to understand that Ryland Grace does not really have his own family, and also it's just used as a means to deliver to the audience the news of why Ryland Grace is in space in the first place. There's also another security guard other than Carl who kind of monitored Ryland Grace's garage in the movie that he works in. So again, that was a character who didn't even have a name. It was more so just described to the reader that this character was a very stern counterpart to Carl. So it wasn't really necessary to have that character in the movie either. Other than that, I guess the other big changes were things that are added to the movie that I feel as though enhance the storytelling. For instance, one of the biggest scenes discussed, I suppose, or maybe that people have heard of is the scene where Sandra Bullock's character, um, Commander Strat, sings "Sign of the Times" by Harry Styles, like little karaoke segments in the movie while they're on the boat. And that wasn't in the movie. I mean, that wasn't in the book, excuse me. So it was added on. It was actually completely done like improv style. It wasn't even in the script. It was just added to include a scene that kind of humanized Sandra Bullock's character. And I do like the song choice as well because Sign of the Times is this really somber song that kind of expresses like the changing of things. We can't change how things are going to go. And the scene that Sandra Bullock does karaoke, it correlates with what is being shown to us to the audience. So I really liked that change. I also really liked how the movie showed how Rocky sees because he doesn't actually have any eyes. So the way that he actually manages to like see things is by feeling the vibrations around him, and how the movie translates that from the book is quite interesting. It kind of reminds me of the old like 2002 2003 Daredevil movie and how Daredevil sees. There's like this grainy texture that pops up on screen, and the grains kind of like show the like structure of the thing that Rocky is right next to. And I thought that was really cool of executing that. I also loved Rocky and Ryland Grace's dynamic in the movie. You really feel for both characters, both of them being these loners who are the last survivors of their respective crews. So you don't want either one of them, Rocky or Grace, to be in peril for the potential threat of one of them being alone. Like you don't want to see one of them just be stranded in space by themselves. So you really resonate with the characters. I thought there was a lot of great elements of humor and cuteness in their relationship. So I thought it was amazing and definitely one of the many highlights of the movie. Despite how much I did really enjoy my time with Project Hail Mary, I do have some minor nitpicks with the movie. For instance, I thought the beginning 20 minutes or so felt a little rushed. I thought there was like a huge barrage of information that was given to the audience that felt a little overwhelming. And also, I thought some elements of what was being said wasn't explained the best, too. I didn't have that big of an issue of it because I did read the book. So I do have a better understanding of what they're saying in the introduction of this movie. But I do think a more casual audience might have been a bit more confused as to what was going on. And also, I felt the movie might have been a little too long. I thought the ending dragged maybe by like 5 or so minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I think a better way of how the ending should have gone is the scene right before the actual ending of the movie. I think that should have been the last like official scene. And then the last 5 minutes should have been reduced a little bit. And then that should have been turned into a post-credit scene. Because there were some really cool visuals that was shown in the end credits that I think an audience member would have definitely stuck around to see, you know, what happened to a few of the other characters. I think that definitely would have benefited the length of the movie maybe by a little bit. But going back to the positives though, I think my biggest positive, biggest glowing statement that I could give this movie is how visually stunning it is. You could have seen that from the trailers, right? There are a lot of shots shown in the trailers that highlighted the massness of the world around Ryland, Grace, and Rocky, like the space around them. And it also showed the different vibrant colors that were used for a few of the different planets and for a few of the different suns that we explored in the movie. So I really admired and adored the colors and the visuals of this movie. It was so eye-catching and mesmerizing. You really got sucked into the movie just by how immersive it was. And not only for the visuals, but also by the story. You really clung to what was going on. And yes, that was really benefited by Rocky and Ryland Grace's relationship, but also by the editing choices. I really liked how some shots turned like 90 degrees when Ryland Grace, for instance, was going into a different section of the Hail Mary. That was really creative. And just those different creative choices and different liberties that this movie took really got you intrigued by what you were watching. Well, guys, I think I've rambled on for long enough now. I think I've made my thoughts rather clear. I loved Project Hail Mary, not only with the movie itself, but also with the sets and with the book. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Project Hail Mary. I can't recommend it enough. Yes, I have some nitpicks with how the beginning was done and with the ending perhaps being a bit dragged on, but overall, just the product itself is fantastic. The use of color, the visuals, the editing, the story, the relationship between Rocky and Grace, like, so much of this movie is incredible, and I can't recommend it enough. The end product will leave you just really happy and a bit teary-eyed a bit too, but yeah, highly recommend. Please go check it out. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. Now catch you on the next video.